Hello, this is Batman. The following show is intended for mature audiences only. If you're underage and watching this, well, we're sorry that you have shitty parents. Alright. And we are good to go.
Awesome.
Alright, everybody's tuning in here. We got Battleborn tuning in.
Awesome.
Alright. And there goes my phone. Of course. Alright. Alright. Thank you so much again for coming on today and taking time out of your busy schedule for doing an interview with us.
Anytime.
Alright, so first question we got right here is so who were some of your favorite actors when you were growing up, or actresses?
Well, I think growing up, the first one that I remember honestly seeing that really stood out to me was Jamie Lee Curtis. And I think for all of the above, she was just so wonderfully iconic. And when I got to know Jamie Lee Curtis, because I'm, a 90s kid, I got to see the Halloween that she did, and then True Lies, like pretty much simpatico, because True Lies was like 94-ish.
Yeah.
And so I had an older brother, so he loved everything action. He actually did not love anything horror. He loved everything action and like sci-fi, so like Terminator, all that good stuff. That being said, I saw them both, and I remember being so amazed at her versatility. Even though I didn't know that's what that was at the time, I was just like, it's so awesome that she did this awesome horror film, and she was so good, and then years later she does this completely different character that's really strong, really bold, and really well done. And then I just sort of started to try to proceed to watch everything and anything that she's ever done. And as I grew up, I just am so impressed, even now, with how phenomenal she is with making sure that she achieves all of her goals. Even, I know that she gets a little bit of flack for doing the Activia thing, but it's something that she believes in, and I think that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, and Activia is pretty good.
Right? Exactly, and I think if you have something you believe in, go fucking do it, and do it fucking well, because that's the whole point of everything, right?
Exactly.
And she's just a great example of that. I also loved Neve Campbell growing up. Obviously, I loved the Scream series as a kid. I thought she was fantastic. Sarah Michelle Gellar. I grew up watching Buffy. Cruel Intentions blew me away. I thought she was so great in that. So those are just a few of the people that originally struck a chord with me. I actually fell in love, a lot of people don't know this, but Sarah Michelle Gellar I adored on a little series called Swan's Crossings that most people do not remember. It was kind of like a soap opera for kids, and it was very like high dramatic, over the top, but really fun. And then she would go on to do Buffy after, and I just thought she was so great.
Yeah. Yeah, I like watching her grow from, and Jamie Lee Curtis too was definitely one of my favorite female actresses. Just seeing her, and she can do any roles, just comedies, action, horror, like anything. Seeing her acting is, she's definitely been one of my favorite growing up. When did you realize that you wanted to become an actress?
You know what? As a kid, it was something that I looked at doing, but then I didn't have good teeth. So I kind of wrote it off immediately because, again, being a 90s child, everybody in TV at that time seemed to have perfect teeth. You know, now and then, I remember watching and being like, damn it, you know, Christina Ricci, Thora Birch, they all have perfect teeth. So being a really practical person and child, I was like, okay, next career option, and kind of moved it along. But I always really loved it. And I grew up in Canada, so part of my electives at one point I had to take drama. So it wasn't a choice, it was by force. So I was kind of like, okay, this will be interesting, and I just loved doing that too, and I had so much fun in that class, and it became a really good reprieve, where the teacher was eventually like, hey, you should just join the play, and I was like, I don't want to be one of those kids, you know, I grew up in a small town. I didn't really like the kids that did drama, just because they were really, in my hometown, I'm not saying this about everyone, but they were really weird, and I just didn't jive with that, you know what I mean? It just wasn't me. I was like, I don't really want to be like wearing weird black eye makeup, and I'm just not one of them. I'm kind of just my own thing. So I was like, I love acting, but that's just not the thing for me. And there was also something too that I did not love about the plays, because I felt so like contrived. So I loved the art of acting, but I wasn't really like, I'm gonna go do a school play. That just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So I would go off and do it, and then I would proceed for follow up with doing fashion design for my actual career job and for my university degree. And then I would get a job immediately out of university in Ohio, of all places. And they would have a major problem with how I spoke. They basically felt I spoke too fast. Right? So I worked at a really corporate place, and they just had a problem with, they always found a problem with everything, with everyone. So they demanded I take classes. When I couldn't find a speech class in Columbus, Ohio, which does not exist, then they decided to suggest that I take an acting class. At least that was my boss's opinion. He thought the whole thing was ridiculous, but it came from her boss's boss, so she was like, we have to shut them up. So I took an acting class, and then I just talked slowly around the stupid people, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. At the time, I was like, oh my god, I don't want to do an acting class on top of working full-time. But it was great because I'd been transplanted from Canada to America for a company that I did not love, for a job that I would not like, for something that was kind of good idea in theory. Like fashion design in theory is really fun. In execution, in the real world, it sucks. And the community of fashion is very high schoolish, which I don't like. So that being said, I didn't like it at all, and I was stuck there for years because I had a contract, I moved countries, yada yada yada. So that being said, I ended up falling madly in love with the acting classes, and I found that I could get through this horrible job if I could just get to the next acting class. So that's what I did, and I did that for years. For years, it was just like, I am just going to do what I love on the evening and weekends, and this is going to be what pays my bills, puts a roof over my head, and I am okay with that. And then I just happened to go through all of the classes in Columbus and the surrounding area, and my teachers were like, you're really good, you need to start working, you need to work. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not really looking for this, but eventually I just had done all the classes, so I had no other choice to continue my passion. And I started auditioning, and I started booking work right away. And luckily, evening, weekends off, and Ohio is largely a hobbyist market, which just means people do a lot of it as hobbies. So evening and weekends are most popular to film at. And I had so much fun. So then I started planning and plotting how to make it my full-time career, which I did in February 2nd, 2010. and I haven't looked back since.
Nice. Yeah, we started about 6 months ago. I was working 7 days a week and barely paying my bills, and I was like, screw it. I'm just start doing what I want to do anyway. Barely paying my bills as is. I'm gonna have fun while I'm not doing it. So, let's see. So, what shows and movies kind of inspired you and got you into acting?
You know what? I loved horror films as a kid. So it's hard to say what really got me into acting. Literally, I just said the story that got me into acting, which was nothing but like a movie. But the first time I thought acting would be really, really fun, it was when I was watching all these horror films. And I was like, how great, you know, to be able to make believe these experiences. You know what I mean? Because like when you watch a horror movie, to do them well, you're typically doing stuff that, knock on wood, hopefully you've never done in real life. You know, yes, some people get chased by a murderer through the woods, but let's be honest, it's a very small percentage of the population.
Yeah.
So you're doing stuff that is kind of something that you don't do on a normal basis. So it's definitely the horror genre that I fell madly in love with, just for that reason alone, because you get to do some really, 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 really cool stuff. And I thought it was just so fun, and the ability to explore things that you wouldn't get to do. So I've never really been drawn by either as a viewer or as an actor to like a rom-com or something else, like anything that I can do in real life.
Yeah.
I'd just rather do it in real life. You know, I love acting because I get to do things I don't get to do. You know, it's weird because like I'm the blonde girl, so usually they're like, oh, you're the pretty blonde friend, so you're really nice. And I'm like, God damn it, I love playing the evil one because I'm a really good person in real life. It's fun to do things and to try to figure out like the rationale, like from a psychology standpoint of why would this person do that really horrible thing that common sense would tell them that's just really, really mean. So, yeah.
Good answer. I was just thinking as I asked it, I was like, you just pretty much answered this question already.
Well, there you go.
All right. So what are some of the newer shows since you've started acting? Some of the newer shows that maybe you draw inspiration from? I know personally I've been watching Silicon Valley, and
do you recommend it?
I do. I definitely recommend Silicon Valley. TJ Miller drew me in, but then the rest of the cast, the story development over I think they're in the 4th season, is going to be coming out soon. They're in season 3 right now. It's just phenomenal. It's awesome. It's funny and it's serious too. So it's got all your funny aspects, but it's got your oh my god, what's gonna happen? So that's definitely a good show to watch.
Awesome. No, I actually think that it's never. I think, for my opinion, and obviously I only have my life that I can really compare it to. Yeah. So I believe that TV has never been better. In the time that I have been watching television, we have never had higher quality, better content, more varied content on the air, and really pushing boundaries. So I think it's a really great time to be in film and television just because of that. For me, I really have been madly in love with Sons of Anarchy, Breaking Bad. The Sopranos, I think, is still, in my opinion, a standard that I go back to all the time, that I'm madly in love with, madly obsessed with. There's been some really great dramas, too, like The Good Wife, Suits, I think is really fantastic. Some really interesting, entertaining, hard-hitting shows that I just madly love. The Mindy Show, which is a comedy, which I did not think I would like. It's just really well-written and really interesting. And different than all the other stuff, it's kind of like its genre. So I really like that. I think we've got there's so much going on TV right now. Even like Nashville, which I thought I'd hate because I usually hate that kind of stuff. I just thought it was really well done. You know, the scope, the magnitude. So yeah, for me, it's never been better for TV. I've never been going to watch so many shows as I have been this last couple of years.
Yeah, I didn't have cable for a couple years, so I wasn't really watching anything, and so I miss a lot of things. And there's some shows that had come out years ago that I'm just now finding out about in the past couple years, like The Office. I didn't find out about that until the last season, but then I went back and I watched every episode.
You know, Steve Carell didn't even start acting until he was like older.
Yeah,
which is just got like one of those stories where you're just like only in Hollywood, but how wonderful is synopsis.
Yeah, and now he's got Andy Tribeca going into the second season now on TBS. That show's actually pretty funny. I guess he's always wanted to do a crime or a cop show.
Right, I actually have always wanted that too. I love cop and lawyer stuff.
Right.
You know, it's funny because sometimes when I have when people in the independent world or film world get kind of catty, I'm like, I wonder if this is how it is as lawyers. Maybe I should go to school and become a lawyer. It's never too late, right? Because I'm a very big believer in that. But then I like to look back and I'm like, you know what? I think it's just a matter of playing a lawyer on TV is so much more fun than doing it in real life. So I think I'd rather do it on a TV show or something than I would in real life, because I feel like TV shows, you pick like the best hour of the week, the most entertaining hour of the week. And I don't think it's that entertaining all day. I think it's like a lot of 16-hour days that are really boring and generic, which I don't think I'd appreciate. So, new plan, just find a TV.
Right? All right, so next question. What would be one of the actors or actresses that you would bring back to do one movie with? If you had to pick just one.
Like bring back from the dead, or bring back from career?
Bring back from the dead.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. I think that she was so iconic, and I actually think she was incredibly talented and really intelligent, and that we did not get to see a lot of that, mainly just because of the requirements of that time period. So women were portrayed in a very specific way. Mm-hmm. She had to act a very specific way. The roles she had offered were very specific. So I'd love to see what she would do in 2016. And I would just love to be able to give her a really dynamic role, like something that's geared towards like a Meryl Streep, and just see what she would do. Because I'm very confident with her life experience and the amount of talent and skill that she had, that she could really knock it out of the park. And unfortunately, we just never got to see it because the films made of that era didn't give the actress that opportunity to show such depth.
Yeah, great answer. I think Robin Williams, personally.
Yeah, that's a great one.
This guy, and then knowing that, watching his movies now and knowing all the struggles that he was going through in his real life, you could see how he brought that into his characters, and I don't know exactly how to describe it. He was Robin Williams. But
he was such a wonderfully talented man. It's such a shame. Honestly, it's one of those tragic things about life, is that sometimes the people that we think are the happiest are indeed not.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming up here on last question. So is there any advice that you would give to anybody who's wanting to become an actor, actress, or getting into the entertainment industry at all?
You know what? There's several things. The first of which is to just go and do it with every spare moment and to the best of your ability. Because I think at the end of the day, persistence can often make up for a lot of things, including a lack of options, location issues, things like that. So really go after it. The wonderful benefit of the internet is that you literally, there's no excuses. You can pretty much reach everyone. You can find out what's casting in your area. It's been never easier to connect with people, and there are pockets of little film communities in every whichwhere all over the world. So I guarantee every single person watching this, you are at most an hour drive from a little independent pocket film community, whether you know it or not. And if you tell me that you're not, it's just because you haven't looked enough. So go find them, because they are there and they are everywhere. It's never been easier to your own content. You can literally shoot videos on your phone. You can shoot auditions on your phone. So really get out there, get involved in the community, and start doing what you love. Start taking classes. There's classes everywhere. Universities, actual just actors classes that you can sign up for with independent teachers. Every agency, which is in every market, will have classes that they recommend. Start taking classes, honing the craft. And really start doing what you love, but don't half-ass it. I don't believe that anything in life, especially things that you love, are worth half-assing. I think if you do that, you will be so regretful 10 years from now, and I think you'll see it. The other thing that I caution people is if you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. If you want it to be a career, you need to treat it like a career. So that means 40 hours a week at minimum. And yes, I understand. If you're working 40 or 50 hours a week at a day job, that's hard. It's hard. It's not impossible. You're going to have to prioritize and figure out what really matters. And if you can only fit in the time for a hobby, then you can expect it to be a hobby. And that's okay. Here's the thing, you know, being a full-time actor means you have to fucking constantly hustle and work your ass off just to get the opportunity to possibly get a job. Not to even just get it, but just you have to work your ass off to get the opportunity to possibly apply for. So it's not for everyone, and that's okay. If you're like one of those people who are like, you know, I just want to do this evening and weekend, that is awesome. Go do you, be you, but don't half-ass it. Just do it full throttle.
Great answer. We actually lost three or four people in our team because I told them, I was like, hey, I'm serious about this show. I want to do this show. We're going to do this. And it was very forthcoming how serious I was. And then 2 weeks into it, when they saw that I was at this 60 hours a week on my computer plugging away, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm working. We're like, take a break. You can't. I told you guys how serious I was, so they,
And things like video content, things of that nature, consistency is priority. You have to do it. You have to do it. And same with like acting, same with anything that's really passion driven. You have to do it consistently. You have to be following up consistently. You have to be producing content consistently. Otherwise, people get distracted. They go somewhere else. They look somewhere else, and you're no longer the thing that they're going to.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Well, great answer. And so thank you again so much for coming on and taking the time to speak with me today. And had some viewers. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on over there, but I'll go back and reread those.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
All right. And maybe we can, I'll shoot you a message and set up an interview for a couple months down the road and see what you're into. And
yeah. I would love that, and let me know when this is posted and where. I'm a big fan of sharing cross-promotion. I do think that's how we get better and bigger than what we are, is just by sharing the content. So.
All right, and real quick, is there any plugs that you'd like to give that I can pop in here?
Absolutely. I do a little YouTube show. I produce videos with my best friend Heather Dorff called Scream Queen Stream. So we produce one to the public, and you can find all that out on the Facebook page. We do it to the public every Friday, or to Patreon if you want to join that, every Wednesday, and it's just like two girls having fun. I have several movies in post-production. I just wrapped on Solitary Confinement. Mania is doing festival rounds, so definitely look for that one. It's my fucked up lesbian love story that I directed. Truth Dare is going through distribution. We've got a bunch in post and a bunch in prep. So stay tuned for that, and you can find all that information out if you look for Jessica Cameron Facebook or Jessica Cameron _ on Twitter. JessicaCameron.com has all the links. Yeah, and if you want to buy merch, you can find all the links there to do that as well. So get involved, stay involved, and if you have any questions, just ask me.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you again so much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
My pleasure. You too, babe.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
You got bitch titties. You got titties so big, they got bitches in them.